Welcome fans to Talking T-Birds, our weekly coaches show. I'm your host Phil Kohler, and today I'm joined by Coach Dwight Gennari of the Lady T-Birds. So Coach, you guys get another win last week. You guys moved to 19-3 overall, ranked 19th in the country. You guys have won 6 in a row now. Talk a little bit about how important it is with that 6-game winning streak.
It's great to get some consistency, and I think we've been struggling a little bit in that department right towards the end, right before winter break. We had some challenges there. Shooting-wise, it's gotten a little bit better, especially from the three-point line. Where I'm really pleased with is our improvement in taking care of the basketball. Also, our rebounding has gotten a lot better. So we've been taking the advantage in the possession game. So I think that's been a big reason why we've been 6-0 over our last 6 games.
Well, I'm talking about that consistency. You guys end up getting a big win at Central Wyoming. You guys win all 4 quarters while you're in Central. You talk about that consistency. Is that something that you guys preach as far as, hey, 10 minutes at a time, let's get little wins here and there?
I think it even goes back to possession at a time, and you want to win blocks of the game. If you can win, I think like the first 5 minutes of the game is really crucial. I think the first 3-4 minutes after halftime are crucial. You really set the tone for both of those halves. So yeah, we do talk about incremental parts of the game, and we've been pretty solid in that area.
Absolutely. So Claudia Garrido leads the way with 21. She ends up hitting 5 threes. Flora Goed adds 17. In the 4 weeks that we've been doing this show, Coach, I feel like we've had different people that have been leading scoring every week that we've been having these conversations. Talk a little bit about that depth and how difficult it is for other teams to scout you.
I think it's critical, and I think with Claudia having a big game is very important for us because she is a very good three-point shooter. She's struggled a little bit, probably since late November, early into January here, and then to see her hit 5 that's huge for our team going forward. Flora's consistency inside has been getting better and better every week. So I think if we can keep that perimeter and inside balance going offensively, it will be a handful for the teams.
Sure. So Flora plays well on the inside, but then you and I talked off camera a little bit about the return of Selena Arnland. Talk a little bit about that. I kind of know she's getting closer. I saw her working a little bit in practice yesterday. Where's she at?
Yeah, I think she's, unless we've had a setback from yesterday's practice, I think she'll be 100% going forward. She brings a lot to our team. She's very good defensively inside, even though she's undersized, and really a good perimeter defender. Offensively, she has made the biggest strides, which is critical. So we don't have to limit her minutes if she can continue to be an offensive threat. And she's been good inside and on the perimeter offensively as well.
Sure. So another thing that we've been talking about quite frequently is Sandra Frau Garcia, her ability to fill up the stat sheet. Wednesday, she grabs 8 rebounds. She gets 7 assists. A couple of important stats that I caught. You guys are plus 32 in the rebound column. That's 2/3 of the rebounds on shots that went up and were missed off the boards. Talk about how important it is to rebound the basketball.
Critical, both ends of the court. Defensively, if we can, everybody's going to shoot similar percentages, so it's about how many attempts do you get.
Sure.
And if you can dominate the boards, win the possession, turnover possession battle, then I think you have a chance to win on the scoreboard at the end. So rebounding critical for us.
And so to that point, you guys only turn the ball over 14 times. You guys end up getting 18 more shots than Central Wyoming. And though you guys shot it a little bit better than they did, you talk about how important that is in the number of shots that you guys are able to take more than the other team.
I do think it's volume. The more you can get, but they have to be quality shots.
Absolutely.
And I think one thing we missed, I think we had 30-plus assists in that game against Central, which means, our team is willing to share the ball, and a lot of different people score, but it's because we're a pretty good passing team.
Sure. So we were prepared to talk about your Saturday game with LCCC. Unfortunately, we all know Wyoming weather. Talk a little bit about the decision that goes into having to reschedule this game from last Saturday at LCCC.
It just became where it was probably an unsafe decision to go down there. We monitored it on Friday, and the roads were still open, and the forecast wasn't looking good. But we've all been in Wyoming for a lot of years, and we know that can change overnight. So we waited till Saturday morning to make a decision. And then about 6:30, spoke with one of our bus drivers and Coach Gutting, and just determined that the chances we'd be taking, especially with the cold temperatures, just wasn't worth it. So we opted to postpone and reschedule.
Sure. And I'm sure part of it getting down there, but also part of it probably getting back. You hate to be stuck in Cheyenne for 2, 3, 4 days at a time.
And it kind of looks like that's how it played out. We could have got there. It looks like we wouldn't have made it all the way back because the road between Douglas and Casper closed late afternoon on Saturday and probably didn't reopen until afternoon on Sunday. So, I think we would have been stranded in Douglas for a while. And I think the right decision was made.
Sure. Now, the rest of Region 9, everybody else cancels throughout the state. Is that something that Region 9, do they have any say in that, or does that kind of your decision?
It really depends on the independent schools. I think we could have made that call. I think, we just don't feel safe sending our kids out there, and I think that's the traveling team typically makes the decision on that, and I think that's the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely, and safety always number one, obviously.
Absolutely.
So you guys have set a makeup date for that game in Cheyenne?
We have. It's next Wednesday, February 8th, 5:30 for the women, 7:30 for the men. A big contest for both of us.
Excellent, excellent. So now talking towards this week, finally back at home, finally back in the Swede. You guys have put in the miles on the road. How important is it for you to get back to the Swede?
A luxury.
Yeah,
it really feels like a luxury. It'll be nice to just have a daily routine where we're not leaving class, not riding a bus, playing in front of our fans again. It's just kind of like a reintroduction. We really haven't had an opportunity to play in front of our fans. And the positive thing is I think 5 of our last 6 games are going to be at home, so that'll be a real positive. But really looking forward to being at home again.
Sure, absolutely. So Eastern Wyoming comes in Wednesday night. They come in 4-15. Give us a little bit of a rundown on what to expect from Eastern.
A lot more than the 4-14.
Sure.
Talked to our team about this yesterday. They haven't really been healthy or had their full complement of players all season long. And when they do, they're very good. They almost beat Salt Lake in November when they were at full strength. And I think they have one of the better players in Region 9 with Gonore. I think if they're at full strength, we're going to have our hands full. They're a nice basketball team.
So Gonore comes in averaging a little over 16 points a game. They also play a lot of kids. Talk a little bit about scouting report and how that looks when a team plays a lot of kids like that.
And probably the positive thing on the scouting report side is they're all capable of driving. They're all capable of shooting. They go either hand. So you really don't have to isolate on one or two. It's your core defense. If we're good fundamentally, we can guard every one of their perimeter. If we're not very good fundamentally, every one of their perimeter players are going to create problems for us. So it just kind of comes back to core fundamentals on that.
Absolutely. So Wednesday night, 5:30. You don't have to listen to me fumble through another YouTube channel, as you can catch the Lady T-Birds right here at the Swede Wednesday night. So moving on to Saturday, Coach, you guys go down to Rock Springs. You play Western Wyoming. Western, a very capable basketball team. They come in 11-9, tied for first in the Region North right now. Talk a little bit about Western Wyoming and what to expect.
Really nice ball club. Okay, Coach Padilla is doing a super good job with them. They're playing really good basketball. I know they're 11-9, but they're playing really good basketball here. Second semester, they have a signature win against Western Nebraska at Western Nebraska. Had a big win against LCCC last week. I think it was on Wednesday. Both road wins, both quality opponents they beat. So they're trending upward very well coached, good disciplined team. They're going to be a handful, and they're going to be in contention to win the North Sub-Region, I believe.
Absolutely. So Western Wyoming has played here in Casper at a tournament. You guys did not get an opportunity to play against them, but you have seen them. Talk a little bit about what you saw from them, but also how different it's going to be with a well-coached team and how different they're going to be from the beginning of the year towards the end of the year.
I think they, like I said, improved a lot. They're very multiple on defense. They'll pick you up full court with a couple different types of pressure. They have some half-court pressure. They play probably an equal amount of man and zone, a couple different zones. So, they're going to change up your defensively, and you just have to, again, it could be ball security, taking care of it, moving the basketball, getting good looks and those kind of things, and then hopefully winning the rebounding battle again.
Sure, absolutely. So, Coach, Western Wyoming Saturday, 2 o'clock. You can find that on the YouTube channel for the Western Wyoming Mustang Athletics. So, Coach, looking a little bit at the region, we're 2 games in now. Hopefully, we were supposed to be 3, but now we're 2 games in. Casper Western lead the way 2-0. LCCC and Northwest both at 1-1, and then Eastern and Central both at 0-2. Talk a little bit about, is that kind of what you expected from the group?
You know, it's always hard to tell year to year in JUCO basketball until you see teams because there's such turnover. Sure. You know, you can go from a 500 team to a really, really good team, or you can make the flip just because there's just a lot of change in JUCO basketball. But, you know, as the November and December passed, I kind of think the stronger teams are right now at 2-0, but, you know, everybody in the North is capable of winning on a given night, like always.
Absolutely. So, Coach, looking a little bit down the road, but we've got the Region 9 tournament coming up in a little over a month. The top 2 seeds do not have to play in that play-in game. Talk about how important it is for you guys to finish in one of those top 2 spots and not have to worry about that extra game.
It is a nice luxury if you can finish first or second in the North sub-region, because then you know you're in the Region 9 tournament, which will be a week later. And if you can win the North, if you finish with the number 1 seed out of the North, you'll go in the tournament with the number 1 seed and play a number 4 team out of the South. So we're really playing for the postseason right now. Sure. You know, as far as do we have to play in game, and if we don't, what seed will we get? So each one of these games are critical right now.
Well, and unfortunately this year with the rotation between the North and the South hosting, this is a year where in the ladies' side, the South is going to host. Kind of an idea right now of who's going to be hosting down there? You
know, it's getting interesting. I know it's early, only a couple games for them too, but you know, I thought it was going to come down to Otero and Western Nebraska. Western Nebraska then beat Otero, so I thought advantage Western Nebraska. Well, then Trinidad State turned around and beat Western Nebraska. So, you know, now you've got to put Trinidad State in that picture. So I don't think it's going to be a couple weeks before we even have a foggy picture of what could happen in the South.
Well, and with basketball, you know, anything can happen,
yeah.
and that's the beauty of this game. So, yeah. Coach, anything you want to add?
No, just team's been doing well. Been really pleased with their efforts, both practice-wise and game-wise. I thought our energy against Central Wyoming was very good, not just on the court but on the bench. And you know, you hate to take a whole week off because you like to carry that over. But you know, hopefully tomorrow night we can see the same.
Sure, absolutely. So fans, remember Wednesday 5:30 here at the Sweet Erickson Gymnasium. Lady Thunderbirds of Casper College taking on the Eastern Wyoming basketball team. Thanks for tuning in to Talking T-Birds. I'm Phil Kohler. Have a great day.